From Steven Adams getting kicked where the sun don't shine, to the Golden State Warriors blowing a 3-1 lead in the finals, these are the unluckiest moments in the NBA. When the Warriors faced off against the Thunder in the 2016 playoffs, Adams was at the receiving end of the Draymond Green special. The 2016 Western Conference Finals were intense, and things only got more heated in Game 2 when Dre needs Steven Adams in his crown jewels. He had no choice but to cower in pain before running back up the court. Things only got worse in the very next game because Green kicked things up a notch, no pun intended. With a little under 6 minutes left in the first half, Draymond pulled out some post moves on Adams before kicking the big man in his nuts. The pain was so bad this time that Steven fell to the floor.
As I mentioned earlier, playing with that bruised right thumb, took a couple of shots in Game 2.
It's the leg, guys. What?
But guess what? This wasn't the first time Adams' crown jewels have been brought a world of pain. After all, once the basketball fell directly onto them, the Thunder were up against the Jazz, and with around 6 minutes left in the first quarter, Rodney Hood drove inside the paint. But what followed was a series of unfortunate events. First, he went crashing down thanks to Hood's skillful moves, and once Steven fell to the floor, he made the mistake of staying down, because once the ball went into the basket, it fell straight onto his nuts. Poor guy just can't catch a break. The same goes for Brandon Knight, who has two of the unluckiest moments of all time. The first one I'm going to talk about came in the 2013 season when the Clippers faced off against the Pistons, and unfortunately for Knight, he was at the wrong place at the wrong time. With a little over 4.5 minutes remaining in the second quarter, Chris Paul brought the ball up the court and lobbed it to Jordan, and DeAndre hammered the ball home so hard that Brandon went crashing down. On top of that, DJ stepped over Knight, which only made the dunk even more memorable. The next moment came in the 2015 season when the Bucks faced off against the Nets in a thrilling matchup. The game was tied at 105 with 12 seconds left, and the Nets turned over the rock, resulting in the ball coming into Knight's hands. He had the chance to win the game with a wide-open layup, but he smoked it. The ball was just a couple of inches away from going in, and that's something Bam Adebayo can relate to. In a November 2021 matchup, Miami and Washington treated fans to an absolute banger of a game, and the ending could have been one for the ages. But unfortunately for Bam, the basketball gods weren't on his side. Kyle Kuzma missed the free throw that would have put the Wizards up by 4, and since there were only 0.6 of a second remaining, Miami needed to get the shot off immediately. That's exactly what Adebayo did as he quickly caught the board and launched the ball from the other side of the court. It almost went in and tied the game, but he just barely missed it, leaving Miami fans heartbroken. Though as bad Bam had it, Embiid had it even worse. The Celtics and 76ers battled it out in February 2023, with the game going down to the wire. The score was deadlocked at 107. Jason Tatum drained the clutch three-pointer to put the Celtics up by 3 with just 1.3 seconds left. Even though Philly had no timeouts, Embiid wasn't ready to give up just yet. So when he caught the ball of the inbounds pass, he let a three-quarter court shot fly, and it went straight in. Everyone thought JoJo pulled off a miracle to tie the game, but once the refs reviewed the play, they saw that he wasn't able to get it off in time. That said, at least Embiid didn't accidentally score on his own basket the way Omer Asik did. The New Orleans Pelicans were up by 2 with 0.7 seconds remaining, so all they needed to win the game was a defensive stop, while the San Antonio Spurs were trying to tap in the shot. But luck wasn't on the Pelicans side because when the Spurs inbounded the rock, Asik jumped up to stop Tim Duncan from tipping the ball, and that did more harm than good for his squad because he tipped it into the basket instead. With that, the Spurs forced overtime without even having to score a goal. I don't know what it is about the Spurs, but their opponents rarely have luck on their side. Just look at the time James Harden scored a clean basket, yet the refs still didn't count it. With the Rockets up by 13 with around 8 minutes left in the game, the Beard had an open lane for an easy dunk, and that's exactly what he went for. But because of the way he slammed it, the ball came out in such a way that it looked like he missed it. Harden kept trying to convince the refs that it went in, but they weren't convinced and refused to count it. Then we have Kemba Walker, who had all the confidence in the world, but not enough luck to back it up, because he celebrated a missed 3. Unless you've been living under a rock, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When the Charlotte Hornets faced off against the Miami Heat in the 2016 season, Kemba was feeling himself a bit too much as he launched a 3 with 1.9 seconds left and started celebrating way before knowing whether it was going to go in or not. So as the ball was rolling around the rim, Walker was out there shimmying and dancing only to soon find out he bricked the shot. He was out there looking like a fool. Speaking of looking like a fool, who can forget what happened to Sam Dekker? When the Knicks matched up against the Rockets in November of 2016, Dekker thought he had an easy dunk waiting for him. With the first quarter winding down, he saw an open lane and ran as fast as he could. But I'd say he got a bit too excited because he tripped and fell before the ball smacked him right in the face. And to make things worse, the ball went out of bounds, so he was responsible for the turnover as well. But hey, there's no shame in that happening because at the end of the day, even star players like Steph Curry don't have luck on their side. While Steph's career is full of insane highlights, what happened to him against the Lakers in the 2019 season is something that no one will ever let him live down. Much like Dekker, Steph had an open lane for an easy dunk, but instead, this guy slipped and fell straight to the floor. The Warriors were able to retain possession though, so Andre Iguodala passed the ball back to Steph, who ran back to the left corner to shoot the three. It was the perfect way for the chef to redeem himself after such an embarrassing moment, but he only made himself look worse as he airballed the triple. But at least he had an unlucky moment in some random regular season game. Kevin Durant, on the other hand, had one in a Game 7. With the Nets down by 2 with 5 seconds remaining in an elimination game, he made a shot that looked like it was from downtown. Everyone in attendance went wild as they thought the Slim Reaper won them the game, but they soon found out that KD's foot just barely touched the three-point line, meaning that it was only a two-pointer and only a tie game. The Nets and Bucks then battled it out in overtime, where Brooklyn took the L. KD did everything he possibly could do to take the Nets past the finish line, but without luck on your side, you can't make it too far. I mean, just ask LeBron James about that if you disagree, because what happened to him in the 2018 finals is the definition of being unlucky. James did everything he possibly could in Game 1, but his teammates didn't have his back. First, Grant Hill missed the free throw to take a 1-point lead, and when JR caught the rebound, he ran out the shot clock instead of getting the ball to LeBron, who would have probably hit a game winner. Once the contest went into overtime, James was too tired to get anything done, and Golden State stole Game 1. Thankfully for LeBron, though, it was the Warriors who were unlucky in 2016, when they became the only team to blow a 3-1 lead in the finals. Golden State was on another level in the 2016 season, and it seemed as if everything was going to go their way no matter what. So when they took a 3-1 lead over Cleveland, everyone thought that it was over. Sadly for the Warriors, that wasn't true as LeBron and Kyrie went God mode. Not only did they force a Game 7, but they won the series thanks to Irving hitting the most clutch shot in NBA history on Steph Curry's head. Everything that could have gone wrong for the Warriors went wrong, and Cleveland became a city of champs instead. So, from the Golden State Warriors blowing a 3-1 lead in the finals to Steven Adams getting kicked where the sun don't shine, those were the unluckiest moments in the NBA.